and has to do with something the left does all the time. I call this Texas and the blue wave hoax. So there was an election in Texas, obviously not in the normal course. I mean, we have primaries coming up in March, we have the general in November, but in Texas we had a special election because a member of the Texas State House, and to be clear, I am not talking about U.S. Congress. I'm talking about the Texas state legislature. We had a race in Texas involving a seat that was held in the Texas legislature by a Republican. He resigned in the middle of his term to go. He took a job in the administration somehow, I think at University of Texas. So there was an open seat. So we had an election in this relatively obscure Texas House seat, HD 28, House District 28. But the reason this is the national story, and it was all over national news, is this. The Democrats have been saying that they can take Texas. You have to understand, if Texas goes blue, there will never be another Republican president for a long time. The number of electoral votes we have in Texas, the size of Texas as a conservative state, holds this country's potential to hold on to America. We hold it right here. Texas, as my friend Alan West says, we lose Texas, we lose the nation. We cannot lose Texas. So the Democrats have been talking about the blue wave coming. And the blue wave is this idea that, the Democrats' ideas are resonating around this country, that Americans cannot wait to join in and fight for the left-wing values the Democrat Party stands for, and that Texas is turning blue. And look at the change in demographics. Look at the number of people who are new citizens who come to Texas from California, which is a little bit of a problem, but people coming over the border, people becoming legal. The argument is, as the demographics change in Texas, the Democrat Party is going to just walk into victory, that America loves these radically leftist ideas the Democrat Party now stands for. So the Democrats poured a mountain of money into a little old Texas House seat. A little old House seat that was Republican and had obviously a Republican and Democrat eventually made it to runoffs. They had, people line up to run, and then they get to primaries and runoffs. So here was a runoff. So this House District 28, the Republican, his name is Gary Gates, and the Democrat was Eliz, E-L-I-Z, that's what she goes by, Eliz Markowitz, Texas House District 28. And Beto O'Rourke actually came to this district, block walked for this candidate. We're big on block walking in Texas. We walk block, we get to candidates, we knock on doors. Hi, my name is Debbie, I'm here to support so-and-so. We block walk. Beto O'Rourke, the very famous empty suit, Beto O'Rourke, other people got behind. Endorsements by all these big national Democrats. 92% of the money raised by the Democrat, Eliz Markowitz, came from out of state. And the Republican won in a big fat trouncing, 58% to 42. Again, in the blue wave with Beto O'Rourke knocking on doors, other famous Democrats showing up in the district, nationally prominent, massive Democrat money poured in. And the Republican won 58 to 42. And I want to tell you why these stories matter. Number one, last time in Texas, 2018, we had talk of this blue wave coming. And we did have a reduced margin of victory for some of the statewide Republicans. And some of the statewide Republicans took that as a message that the left was kind of making inroads, and that the way to move the state in order to accommodate this moving to the center was for these Republicans who won to move to the center. I'm telling you, folks, that's the wrong answer. And this is not just true in Texas, it's true across this country. What the left in this country, the anti-American left that has taken over the Democrat Party, stands for are radically dangerous, anti-American, destructive ideas that have no place anywhere in America. Anywhere. The socialism that is not just Bernie Sanders, it is pretty much the entire Democrat Party leadership. It's woven into their platform. This whole notion of Buttigieg, I believe, is one of the ones who talks about we should have a national guaranteed basic income, a universal basic income. Everyone gets $1,000 just for waking up in the morning. And once a year, whatever it is, $1,000 a month, a year, whatever it is. I think it's a month. So you have ideas like this, which are all tethered around the concept of having a growing centralized power in Washington, D.C. that controls every aspect of your life. Your healthcare system, your housing, where you're allowed to live, what you're allowed to drive. You have the Green New Deal that is nothing less than the communist takeover of America. You've got to read that bill. It has very little to do with environment and everything to do with a radical, centralized, just like Russia, just like communist Russia government created right before us by the Democrat Party. I am telling you, this is not selling in the famous heartland of America. This is not selling in most of America. The more people understand what the left stands for, they are running away. The Democrats are trying to tell America that President Trump is so unpopular, that Trump is a problem, that Trump is the guy, he's so bad that everyone's going to flood the ballot box to vote for every Democrat just to oust Trump. And they're saying this at a time that President Trump is holding rallies in Democrat states that break all conceivable records ever kept. There's nothing like this phenomenon in American history, and yet the Democrats want to look you in the face and say, yeah, Trump is a problem. Man, he is so unpopular. He is going to cause, he's going to the ruin of this country. Everyone will come running to us. So here are my lessons to you. Number one, believe in yourself. Believe in your read of the issues, not what the media tells you, not what the Democrats tell you. America, I'll tell you, I was leery about President Trump early on, candidate Trump, early on in 2016. Hadn't paid much attention to him, was behind another candidate, didn't know much about him, about President Trump. But people, and there are literally millions and millions and millions of Americans who took the same journey I did, who kind of wondered about him, flamboyant, billionaire, kind of known as a playboy. Who is this guy? To recognizing this guy is the one who has the backbone, the strength, the temerity, the determination to stand up to restore America, that will call out the left for the danger they are to America. This is where we are in 2020. This little race in Texas HD 28 watched all over the country with you had the leftists declaring they were going to win this. It was too close to call. 58 to 42. 58 to 42 is a landslide in politics. And this is not, to understand, this is a district kind of nowhereville, not a lot of people who even live in the area, but the activity that rose up within that state, within our state, within surrounding areas to say, we've got to get the message of the Republican Party, the GOP, conservatism, what America is, what Texas is. We have to let those voters know that's what's on the ballot this time and in every single race in 2020. Please understand this. Every race you vote in 2020, from dog catcher to president, the question is, are you buying in to the radical leftist agenda that has overtaken the Democrat Party, or are you voting to preserve America? That's the question. And I think the vast majority of Americans will vote to preserve America.